Cycle syncing is a way to live in balance with your hormones and actually work with your body as opposed to against it. So often, women have been told that they are victims to their bodies and their hormones, and that there's nothing that we can do about it. And I don't know about you, but I have definitely been to doctors with hormonal struggles and just been told that that's the part of being a woman, just get used to it. And the problem is that we actually end up believing that. We end up believing that feeling tired all the time, being bloated, feeling unfocused, having tons of acne or PMS, they are all just things that we have to get used to. But that's not actually the truth, and that's what we're going to dive deeper into with this video. Hi there, I'm Antonie, and I talk about all things feminine self-development, including feminine energy, cycle syncing, and feminine archetypes. And what I ultimately want with this channel is to help women truly understand and cherish the powers of the feminine within them. So if that's something that you feel like you might need some more of, make sure to click that subscribe button and keep on watching. So before we really get into the video, I just wanted to cover a couple of small life updates, but if you just want to skip on into the content, just head on over to the next chapter. So I kind of forgot to mention this first life update in the last video. So if you've seen some of the previous videos, you might have noticed that I've got a new background, which is because I'm in a new place and my partner and I finally moved to Sweden. So now we are settled, we are in our new place, and we even got some plants yesterday, so I'm super excited about that. So we are finally kind of settling down and moving into our next chapter and essentially moving into where we want to be for the future. So if you are Swedish, or if you've just been to Sweden or anything like that, especially in the Malmö area, then please let me know in the comments on any tips or insights or just places we need to check out or activities that we need to do or just anything. And the second little life update is that you may have noticed that I've been changing a little bit on the branding and just changing a bit into a new brand for my business, which also affects the YouTube channel. So essentially, I'm moving away from Start With The Self, which was the original name of the business and also the YouTube channel, into Sake, which is now the new company name and the new name of the business and the YouTube channel and everything. But Start With The Self is still kind of in the ethos underneath it all. But I wanted to create a name that I really felt like was a bit shorter and a little bit more aligned with the new version of me and just the new version of the business. So once my website and everything is up to date, I'll let you know in an upcoming video, and then I hope you'll check it out and let me know what you think. So how do we stop living as victims to our bodies and our hormonal rhythms and actually uncover a life full of passion, energy, vitality, and empowerment? Well, to be honest, cycle syncing is an amazing way to get there. And just a quick note, I've previously done a couple of videos that are more like an introduction to before you start cycle syncing and things you need to know before you start cycle syncing, as well as some tips and notes in case you feel like you've been doing cycle syncing but you don't feel like it's kind of been enough to really get you that energy and passion that you've been looking for. So if you haven't watched those videos already, I really recommend you checking those out as well. And also something really important for me to mention is that a lot of the information that we're going to cover in this video is information that you can find even more about in the book In the FLO. Yeah, which I think I actually have right there. Which is a book by Alisa Vitti, and she is essentially the pioneer of cycle syncing. And if you get the book, it's truly it's the best book that I've ever read. So I really, really recommend it. And you can find 10 times more information about cycle syncing and how to get started and what it all is. So I'll add a couple of resources down in the description box that I really recommend checking out. So in a nutshell, cycle syncing is a way to live in balance with your hormones and their pattern. And the reason for doing that is to get the most out of your work, your exercise, your self-care, and essentially life in general. And it's based on the fact that as a woman with female biology, you have two distinct systems or rhythms or clocks operating in your body. First, you have the 24-hour clock, also called the circadian rhythm. And you can think of this system as the one that follows the sun. and the one where your hormones in your body would have the same ebbs and flows day to day, which in essence could be described as more consistent. And this system is one that women have, but it's also not their only one. While for men and people with male biology, this is their only system that's operating when it comes to their hormones. Now for women with female biology, we also have a second biological clock. And this one is called the 28-day cycle, or also the infradian rhythm. And think of this one as the one that follows the moon, and therefore has different ebbs and flows in our hormones, not from day to day, but from month to month. And this system is incredibly powerful, and it affects everything from your brain, your hormones, your body, to your metabolism and your nutritional needs, and so much more. So if you're not taking this system into account, you are essentially missing out on half of your biology and your health. So you can essentially think of it this way. Do you ever feel like sometimes you are just full of creativity and you're just full of ideas and energy and you feel ready to take on life? And then other times you might feel like all you really want to do is sit down with your to-do list and not be disturbed until you're done with that list. And other times, maybe during your period, you feel like you just want to take it easy. Maybe you struggle to really focus, and you're just wanting to snuggle up under a blanket with a good movie. Those ebbs and flows are what cycle syncing helps you accommodate. It helps you to know exactly when you are primed to do and focus on different things, so that you can take advantage of that splurge of creativity, and you can actually schedule in time for rest, so that you can feel your best and therefore tackle your goals without burning out in the process. So to understand this better, let's dive into the 4 different phases of the menstrual cycle and see why it's not actually the way that many people will end up thinking, which is essentially that we have a period once a month and then we just wait around for the next one. So the first phase in your menstrual cycle is the follicular phase. And this is the phase right after your period. So this is the phase when your estrogen levels are starting to build and your energy levels are starting to build again after that kind of heavy phase of the period. The second phase after that is the ovulatory phase, which is when your body is ovulating. And this is the phase when your estrogen levels are at their peak. And this is the phase when you will generally have the most energy. After that comes the luteal phase, which is the longest phase of the cycle. And this is when progesterone levels are starting to increase, and they're meant to be higher than your estrogen levels. And then finally, you have the menstrual phase when you're bleeding and you're on your period. And it's also the time when your hormones will be at their lowest concentration, which is generally why you won't have as much energy during this phase. Okay, so now that you have a bit of an overview over the menstrual cycle and you know that it's 4 phases and not just your period and then waiting around for the next one, let's go into each of the different phases and see how you can structure your productivity, self-care, social calendar, and nutrition and cooking for each of the phases. So for the follicular phase, you can essentially think of 3 keywords: planning, creativity, and preparation. So in this phase, some activities to schedule in is to plan your month and plan the upcoming cycle and essentially decide when you want to do the different things that you want to do this cycle. It's also a great time to brainstorm any ideas or thoughts for your life or for your work. So for example, for me, this is the time when I would plan my ideas and my content for the videos. This is also the time for you to focus on research and learning. Do creative work that is more about a large overview than those nitty-gritty details. And just starting with an outline, starting with the big ideas. So gather information, interview people, create outlines, plan your talking points, prepare and start new things, start new projects, get your meal plan ready for the month, or batch cook in order for you to leave things in the freezer for the rest of the month. So in the follicular phase, especially once it's been a few days since your last period, you might not feel as much of a need to focus a lot on self-care and to be still. But that doesn't mean you need to forget to take good care of yourself. So focus on novelty and doing new things. Maybe test out a new recipe and have fun with it. And when it comes to exercise, focus a lot on cardio and getting your body moving, and essentially kind of waking it up from that slumber that it's been in your period. So you can do things like cycling or spinning. You can do outdoors activities like hiking or climbing, and essentially anything cardio and that gets your body moving. When it comes to social settings in your follicular phase, focus on doing new things and getting new experiences. So try new activities, especially physical ones that will get you moving and out of the house. And attach learning something new to this. So like visiting a museum or trying a new activity with your partner, or maybe attending a cooking class. Focus on lighter foods that can keep your body and creativity going. And if you're happy to, focus on lighter cooking methods like steaming or sauteing. And some examples of ingredients that you can use in your cooking are things like chicken, eggs, sauerkraut, oats, broccoli, carrots, avocados, grapefruits, and lemons. 3 keywords for the ovulatory phase are socialize, collaborate, and communicate. So again, remember that this is the phase where you will usually have the most energy, and this is the peak of your hormones. So focus on socializing and communicating, whether that's written or verbal. So write out any written work that you need to do, hold a speech or hold a presentation, or have an important conversation that you need to have with someone. Maybe this is the time when you can schedule in that podcast episode that you've been invited to, or schedule in a meeting that you need to have. Collaborate with others, share your ideas, and talk with your team or your coworkers. So even though this one might seem a bit counterintuitive, especially if you're an introvert like me, this is actually the time when the best self-care for you can be to connect with others and to fill up your social batteries. So hang out with friends, have important conversations, share your thoughts, your wins, your struggles, and your ideas with the people around you. So whatever you do, don't sit at home alone, even if you're an introvert. Trust me. Even as an introvert, it will drive you crazy to just be at home alone during this phase. So because this is your peak of energy and hormones, focus on the heavy hitters of exercises like HIIT workouts, dance workouts, spinning, or kickboxing. And again, this is the time to have fun and be social. So this is the best time for you to go to workout classes with other people, like trying out a new Zumba class. I kind of said this before, but I want to highlight it in this phase: be social. Go out with your friends, go to parties, or go on double dates with your partner. Spend time around other people. Because this phase is considered the hottest phase of your cycle, meaning the phase when your basal body temperature will be at the highest, this is the best time to focus on colder and more raw foods. So if you love sushi, then this is like the best time to get sushi. And examples of ingredients that you can use are quinoa, asparagus, eggplants, tomatoes, coconut, red berries, almonds, salmon, and tuna. So the 3 keywords for the luteal phase are to tackle your to-do list, complete, and nurture. So this is the get it done phase, where you will feel your best completing tasks and activities, such as projects that you started in the follicular phase. Focus more on the detail-oriented work and get things to a good completion place. Focus on doing deep work without distractions. Organize for your work or for your home. Take care of your home, your finances, appointments, and personal tasks. And this is essentially the best time to do extra laundry or to clean your home. In this phase, it's time to start slowing things down a bit and focus more on self-care and tuning inward. Spend less time around people and give yourself the space to just be you and take care of you. Take a bath, read a book, focus on hobbies like crafts or baking. Watch your favorite movies or shows. And in this phase, focus more on strength exercises, especially in the first half of the luteal phase. And towards the second half, focus more on Pilates and yoga. And remember that the point of this is to slow down and really listen to your body. And listen to what feels good for you. So if you feel like you have the energy in the beginning, go for it. And when you start feeling like maybe you would like to take it a bit easier, focus more on slow movements and stretching, then listen to that. And remember that the closer you get to your period, the more exercise might not feel very good to you. And trust me, there really is such a thing as regretting a workout. So focus on listening to your body and slowing down, maybe stretching or going for long walks or simply taking it easy. And like I mentioned earlier, this is the phase to start tuning inward and not be so much around other people. And focus more on yourself and your partner if you live with one. Focus more on projects for your home like organizing or cleaning. And do date nights at home. And remember, it's okay to turn down an invitation or schedule something for another phase of your cycle. when you'll have a bit more to give. And finally, add in more warmer foods during this phase through roasting or baking, and find strong, healthy carbs to support your body during this phase, like sweet potatoes and brown rice. And keep in mind that you might feel like you need more food and that you need more nutrition, and that is absolutely natural. That's what your body is calling for. You actually have a higher caloric need during this half of your cycle than you did in the follicular and ovulatory phases. So it's no strangeness, it's not weird, it's not wrong or anything for you to want to eat a little bit more during this phase and to incorporate some good solid carbs. So focus on adding in things like turkey and red meat, and especially think of adding in things that will give you some iron for the menstrual phase. Add in things like cauliflower and radishes, squash, dates, apples, and chickpeas. So the 3 keywords of the menstrual phase are evaluation, recharge, and intuition. This is the time to slow down and take it easy. Focus on a few small items and only do what you absolutely must. And otherwise, leave it for another time. You can tackle it next week. It's not the end of the world. Do things like reviewing your work and proofreading any reports or written content or presentations that you've created. Reflect on your progress and reflect on where you want to go, and reflect on how you feel about your current situation and your work and your relationships and your goals, and reflect on what you want for the upcoming month. Connect to your intuition and let it guide you. So this is the phase to take it the easiest on your body. Rest, journal, recharge, meditate. Focus on relaxing hobbies off screen, like reading a good book or going for a light walk in nature. And it's okay if you don't feel like you have the energy to go full on in a workout. And honestly, it's better for you to take it easy and rest and not exercise, and then feel your body restoring and recharging for the upcoming cycle, than for you to hit it hard and keep going just for the sake of some external idea of you being consistent. So if you feel like you want to be slightly active, or you feel like maybe after the first couple of days of your period you want to start moving a little bit, focus on light yoga or Pilates or going for long walks or stretching. In this phase, tune inward and amp up the self-care. And I want to add in a tiny pro tip that I heard from a podcaster that I listen to sometimes. And that is to get off social media during this phase. Yes, I know. But listen, this is the phase for you to focus on your needs and what you want and what you truly feel and think about certain things in your life, and to listen to your intuition. And to constantly be in that comparison mode or to be in that constant productivity mode is not going to help you really relax and recharge and reflect. So instead of spending time scrolling on social media and getting trapped in those spirals, journal, reflect. Reflect on your upcoming goals and on the upcoming month, and reflect on your progress and where you are, and really decide what it is that you want. In the menstrual phase, incorporate warm, comfy foods like soups and stews, but just make sure they're packed with nutrition, especially iron, to help your body through this process. So incorporate things like mushrooms and beets, watermelon, kidney beans, pork, sardines, and squid. But just keep in mind, regardless of what phase you're focusing on, the point and the underlying desire is for you to listen to your body. So don't just follow the different examples and ideas because you have to, because that's the only thing that's right. These are just guidelines, examples of what could work and what often works, but that doesn't mean that you're not unique, and it doesn't mean that you won't have unique desires. And some months you'll be more tired and depleted than other months, and you need to listen to that and allow your body to guide you. And remember that the ultimate goal of cycle syncing is to balance your hormones so that you can actually solve the symptoms that you have, such as bloating or acne or PMS, and not just treat the symptoms, but actually solve the causes and the root problems. And it's also to help you listen to your body and to your intuition, and to work with your body, not against it. So really remember that your body and you and each cycle will be unique, So remember to listen and give yourself what your body calls for. And just a really important note before we wrap up is that remember that if you are on hormonal birth control, you can still organize your life based on the 4 different phases, but you won't actually be going through these different phases because the hormonal birth control is blocking those processes. So you probably won't feel the same ebbs and flows in your moods and productivity and energy levels as you would if you're not on hormonal birth control. And therefore you'll also not gain the exact same benefits and as much benefits. And I made a bit of a wider note on that in the other 2 videos that I did previously, so I'll link them in the description box below and make sure to check those out too. And then finally, if you're feeling like you are ready to dive a bit deeper into cycle syncing and really learn about it, and essentially start relearning how you can create more passion and energy in your life, then check out the full blog post that also has some downloadable infographics for each phase in the description box below. So I really hope that this video brought you some value. And as always, if it did, I hope you will let me know by clicking the like button. And feel free to leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts and let me know where you are in cycle syncing, if you're a complete newbie or if you've been doing it for a while or if you're excited to get started. And make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any new videos. And in the meantime, check out these videos.